Hello, this is Steve. Welcome to this week's YouTube video on B2C1 writing. Slightly different way of looking at it this week. We're going to be doing some use of English, and we're going to be thinking, how can we use what we learn from use of English to help your writing? Because obviously, I always say this, don't I? But if it's a B2 or C1 exam and they put these questions on the use of English, that's because they think this is B2, C1 vocab and grammar. So if you can use that in your writing, you are very clearly demonstrating that you've got that B2 and C1 level. So we'll start by looking at a sample question and thinking about the kind of grammar and vocab from use of English that we can use in it. Here's our sample question. It's about technology because it's linked to the last two videos I've done on the video about quitting social media and the listening and the reading from that. So imagine you've got a question that is about the impact of apps on our lives. And you would have to, do the typical thing you do, plan your paragraphs, think about what to say, which might go something like this. In my introduction, I'm going to say how they are used in every aspect of life. In paragraph 1, I'm going to give an example, the Lidl app, which is great because, and I'm saying specifically why in my plan that offers the fact that it's easy to use. So a detailed plan about why I like this app. Then I'm going to talk about a very different one, the Pokemon trading card game app, which has just come out. Everyone should be playing that. My friend code is in the comments. It's not, but I'm playing it. It's great. It's addictive. You collect cards, you check it. Again, detailed plan of why I like it. And then let's imagine this is a bit of a short essay. Obviously, go with the word limit of whatever we're doing, B2, C1. This was actually from a class in school where they're doing it writing for the university entrance exam, so it's a bit shorter, but it's always the same skills. We know good writing when we see it, and can we reproduce that? Then a conclusion that it's impossible to choose a favorite. There are too many useful apps. So we take this plan, which is fairly simple, straightforward, clear, as it should be for all these things, and it would become an essay which looks something like this, with the introduction, with your first paragraph, with your second paragraph, with your conclusion. We're not going to look at that for long because, like always, the activity is, can we use this essay that I wrote? That wasn't ChatGPT, it was actually I wrote it. So this is something rare nowadays, isn't it? An essay written by a human. Can we use some of the expressions in this and think about how these typical B2C1 grammar points that you'd have in a use of English part 2 are actually really good for your writing because you're learning them anyway. So focusing on how we link ideas together in an essay using the little prepositions and phrases and so on that are tested in part 2. You know what to do. Pause the video, complete gaps 1 to 8 using a little grammatical word like in, on, at, and really try and think, why have I chosen these words? What are the functions of these words in constructing a clear and coherent essay? You've paused the video, we come back, and let's go through the answers and explain why these are important. So number 1 is to, because we are talking about different aspects from shopping to entertainment. So this is a great introductory phrase, because in many essays you'll be talking about various things from this to this. Lovely phrase, that's on the use of English, that's good for your writing. Number 2, the most elegant way of saying this is among the many apps available. You can maybe say of the many apps available, but among is a bit impressive, isn't it? And again, this is a nice phrase that you can use when discussing various options or possibilities and so on. Among the different options, the ones that stand out are, and so on and so on. So it's great for introducing the options you're talking about, linking things together. Number 3, it's a relative pronoun. We know how these work. There's a comma there. It's going to be which, because we can't use other reference words because of that comma. It's the same sentence, but it's a bit of a remove, so we're going to say which. Number 4 is another relative pronoun. The thing that I need is I can find what I need. And number 5, I like this one because this is not a super typical use of English question, but as a teacher sometimes, and I guess it's the same for the people marking the Cambridge exams, we do get a bit bored of people saying firstly, secondly, in conclusion. So can you use a different linking expression instead of saying secondly, or instead of saying on the one hand, on the other hand, which are fine, but if you really want to demonstrate a bit more, a wider range of vocab for something completely different, again, I'm introducing the next topic. And I'm pointing out that it's going to be a different topic. That's actually why I chose them. One shopping and one playing, so I can have contrasting view of how important apps are. So for something completely different, nice expression. 10 minutes each day, 10 minutes per day, 10 minutes a day. That was not so much a linking phrase, but I wanted 8 questions. Number 7, you're going to choose just one or only one. Again, good, because in all of these essays, you're comparing, contrasting, weighing up different things. And then to choose just one, if I had to choose just one, it's a nice expression, a natural expression that emphasizes what you're doing and your choice. And finally, back to number 1, it's very similar, isn't it? Whether for this or for this, whether for X or for Y. Lovely expression when comparing, contrasting different options in an essay. So there we go, that's use of English part 2, some grammar that would help you write a good essay. And we can do the same thing for use of English part 3. We can do the same job again. I'll explain why again. If they put all of these words in use of English part 3 and they say you need to be able to manipulate and transform words and take nouns and make verbs and adverbs and so on, it's because they think it's important, that it's a good skill in English that you should have. So demonstrate it in the writing. These are the kind of words that if you use correctly in the writing, they will notice and say, oh, you've got a good understanding of English, you can express yourself and so on. So it's use of English part 3, showing some ambitious vocab. You know what to do. You need to transform the word on the corresponding line. Number 1, take the word entertain, and we're going to need the noun from entertain because we're talking about topics, shopping, and pause the video, do all 8 of these, and then I will tell you the answers. And of course, here are the answers. It's entertainment, shopping to entertainment, that's the noun. Number 2, exclusive deals. Number 3, weekly offers. Slightly irregular, isn't it? Weekly is an adjective. Here, weekly offers, but it ends in ly. Sometimes adjectives can end in ly in English. Completely different. That was an easy one because we just said it a lot. It's addictive, addiction, addictive. And number 6, helpful, which you obviously spell with one L at your level of English. And comparatives, easier and more enjoyable. So all nice little expressions that come up naturally in good writing, because you should be manipulating writing like this naturally. Okay, homework, different question which you can write by yourself following these steps, using your knowledge from use of English, using your planning and using all my other writing videos to try and answer this question about the rise of influencers. An essay discussing the advantages and disadvantages. You can already see the plan forming in your head with an introduction about how popular the idea of being an influencer is, about thinking of some possible advantages of getting lots of money, of having an interesting life, and possible disadvantages of the fact that maybe it's very fleeting, the fame can disappear very quickly, or that it's stressful, or that, I don't know, whatever you want to say. And then a conclusion where you give your opinion. Okay, I think that's going to be enough. Hope that was useful. See you next time.